judge by what I've heard and seen. That's not everybody's opinions being expressed, but what I've heard from friends and colleagues that have listened to the album, from journalists that I've been speaking to, and judging by the response that we get from the audience every night now that we are out playing live with Deep Calls Upon Deep, it seems to me that people are very, very into it, like we are ourselves, really. I guess that we and our fans share a common understanding of what kind of an album this is. Many seem to appreciate the very spirited atmosphere, the diversity of the album, and also the fact that it's musically very electric and has a lot of human presence in the performances, which gives a lot of soul and identity to the different songs. So we can perform different songs from the album, and we can see that the energy in the crowd will somehow reflect the type of atmosphere that each respective song has, and that's always a very promising sign when you notice that there is this immediate connection between band and crowd, and that probably tells much more than people sharing opinions on the internet. So at the end of the day, a fantastic response from what I have seen so far, and I'm very, very content about that.
With a fearless heart and no one's dream torn.
It always changes a little. The band has a rather dynamic nature. With an album like this, it was important that we could facilitate creativity and facilitate inspiration for ourselves all along. That meant that we were rehearsing and jamming a lot, sometimes having free jams. We could set up band camps out on the countryside, have our equipment there, and we could rehearse at night time if we wanted to, see to it that there were no disturbances of any kind. And that way of working probably helps the more open kind of creativity that I guess you sense in the album, both in the way that the songs are composed and the way that they are performed. And you also need to see too that as a member of the band, you have to be present and you have to be awake and alert when you work. Observe and have a very good focus, and we have always into it that we never get into a boring routine when we meet up. We rather want to go that extra mile to secure that everything is done in the right fashion, and that goes for how we create the material and also how we approach it. For us, performance has been a key word in this album, to have the right attitude and feeling in the performance. It was a rather simple process as far as choosing the motive goes. Satyr just saw that picture and realized he was staring at the cover. So that process in itself took a nanosecond, I guess. So it was now the spring actually that Satyr got access to a catalogue of works by Munch, many of which were pictures he hadn't seen before, more or less obscure and unknown works that were now to be accessed through some kind of web catalog. And it was more or less coincidence, I think, to see those pictures. And the very last picture he got to see was this one, The Kiss of Death. He instantly thought that this was like a visual representation of music, very raw and naked, but also very expressful and spiritual at the same time. That is very much how the music on the album is, and the production is very much in a similar way, and also the tension, life and death drama, the sense of movement in the picture, and all that disturbing and twisted feel of it. It's also something that you find a lot of on the album. It has to do with that, rather menacing atmosphere and the undertow somehow. So it's all there. It's a beautiful picture, and it couldn't possibly fit better. Well, describing an evolution isn't an easy task. What I think of is simply that it is an evolution. There is an ongoing evolution in this band, has always been, and I think it has to do with where we come from, and the very reason that we have this band. Satyricon is founded on creativity and innovation. We have always tried to find an expression of our own. We think of this as our life's work. It is something that we personally also want to grow with. And as you grow with the project, it comes naturally that you improve and observe, you learn, you get better at things, you make discoveries, and in next turn they will be brought into your music. As that happens all along, it, develops and evolves in all kinds of direction. And it's so with every Satyricon album that the Satyricon signature will always be there. You probably need just a few seconds to understand which band you're listening to. But at the same time, I think that from album to album, you will also experience lots of development happening, and sometimes radical changes in expression. And that's really our nature, because we bring our own approach to music into this project, and we never search for a set formula or rigid pattern or a very specific way of doing things. We ourselves try to alter our ways of doing it. You can always do something better. And if you want to do something better, you will also find new methods, and new methods will have an impact on your music and make a change. So there is never just one particular kind of change and one particular kind of development. And we don't move from one particular musical style to another. But it's more like we get a richer musical palette, I guess, as we continue with this. We have discovered that dynamics do a lot for Satyricon's music, for instance. So we have made that a much more central element in our music, and it's a much more central element in composing of the songs. And that affects the music a lot. And also the ability to express feelings from the very depth of our beings is also something that we have simply become better at, because we have discovered the tools for doing it. And in that respect, I feel it's this growing tree. The root system remains firm and solid, and it's there in the ground, and more or less unchanged. It grows a little, but It's a very slow process, but what happens above ground, like the leaves and the trees are in some way the albums. The whole structure grows, it gets wider, higher, and it spans a larger area. So it's a very organic being.
With the spirits of chaos.
Those are very different challenges. In Satyricon, it has a lot to do with that mental challenge. With deep colors upon deep, we have been very concerned about the spirit and attitude and feeling in performance, as I said earlier. And to really get there was a huge mental task. If you look away from the technicality, just being able to connect with the spirit and the feeling of each song, and being able to bring that into the solutions that you go for and how you carry them out. That really took a lot of a learning process. It can be very frustrating at times to struggle finding the right way and the right approach. And also, Satyricon is musically very diverse, and I have started out as a self-taught drummer with a very narrow focus and a very narrow kind of expression. And it's all about that very militant, super aggressive style, which has always been my trademark as a drummer. And that has been a huge obstacle to be so confined by a very set expression. So I have needed to expand my own expression and incorporate many elements into my style that naturally haven't been there. And that definitely takes a lot of work, and there's quite a lot of brain work involved. With 3049, it's much more about holding nothing back, because that's a direct outlet for all of the extremity and violent intensity that you find in this music genre. And it comes much more down to instinct and intuition on my part. It happens sometimes that I have to work a little to find solutions, but very often what I'm inspired to do in the moment as I hear guitar themes being presented, or we do some kind of a jam, that's usually what works best. So there's this instant connection. I'm trying to just connect with that band spirit that we have. That's more of the thing that happens in 749. There's some technical issues there as well, obviously, but it's really a very different process from one that we have in Satyricon, and that's a very fortunate thing. I need to have both of those works in order to be the best I can be, I suppose. No, not really. We have found that to work perfectly for us, and I think that's how they do it in any other bands as well. People might get the impression that you have 4 or 5 people that all contribute with each their part in a way, while in reality, perhaps it's 1 or 2 that's doing all the work. And sometimes, not all the members of a band will even be playing and recording with the band in studio. But we have found that the 2 of us have a shared understanding of the ideas and principles of this band, and it's completely necessary for Satyr to have the role as a solo composer. The way I see it, he's like, a classical composer of the very finest kind. He's good at understanding totalities, while we might perhaps only have a theme or two, but he still manages to sense the whole picture, and he's very good at bringing that into arrangements. Hence, if we were to have more members, they would also necessarily be entitled to have an effect on the music. I guess that Satyr's compositions must rather be, supported in the best way possible. You cannot really come in as a songwriter number two and say that I want to bring this or that riff there, and then have a debate about it, But that's the thing that would happen if we were to have more members. So I think that if you already have Beethoven in the band, you don't want to have Bach come in there and have his parts as well, because that would ruin the flow and sense of totality in compositions. It would make it very difficult to preserve a kind of energy and spirit from start to finish of a song. So I never try to alter anything with Satyr's compositions whenever I work with him in the arrangement period. I just try to back it up, and if he comes with guidelines, I would work with those. And it's always, about just making the best out of the core compositions. And the way we do things, we are in control of that process, and we have to find a live band that supports it all when we're going out touring. And now when we're on stage later tonight, we're really like a band. It's not Satyr and me and some hired guns. We are people here that have been with us for almost 20 years in this live band, and we don't bring people in and out of the live band unless necessary. We like to have people there that share that Satyricon spirit and mean what you're doing when you're on stage with us. If in any way I feel that we are perhaps even more gravely serious about what we do now, we have been forced to think a little different on finality, something that is possible, that we have to relate to. But that has also, in a way, made it even more important for us to dedicate ourselves fully and deeply to this project. I mean, who knows whether we can do this for one more album or more albums. Perhaps it all comes to an end, and then you really want to do the best out of the time that you have left in the band, whether that be shorter or longer time. And it's like, if this is somehow Satyricon coming to an end, you're definitely gonna have a worthy exit. And if you feel that we can continue, we shall feel that this is even more meaningful, something that is leaving an even better legacy. That it's more like beginning of something even better for us. I think that we need it to be that way when we have been through that kind of situations as we have. Having a breakthrough is something that is not only affecting the life situation in a very grave way, and all practicalities that comes with it. It has a pretty strong impact on the general mentality. There is this dark cloud appearing on the sky, obviously, but we have tried to use it as a strong incentive to become even better version of ourselves than what we were prior to that.
Ice metal skin, serpent stalk, dagger claws, dragon wings, clucking horns.
Well, there is this world tour now that we really just started. We will be touring for a year and traveling around the globe, little long enough. Who knows what comes after that? You know, it's a good thing with Satyricon that we're quite unpredictable. We have some different kinds of projects that we have talked about. You know, getting back to that cover album project that we actually started up a few years ago, but which we have decided to wait with because we were inspired to do Deep Calls of Deep instead. You know, we might return to that. Might return to making another studio album if we feel that we're still up for that a year from now. Who knows? We have to wait and see, but you always know that for as long as we carry on, it's going to be something good coming out of it. We'd rather put this band to death than, you know, go on with something that we cannot really take further. This is Forst from Satyricon here in Aarhus, about to prepare tonight's show. I just want to say a big hail to our Danish fans. Thanks a lot to you people that were there in Copenhagen the day before last and making that show an absolutely magical evening. And thanks a lot to you that come out tonight and see us in Aarhus. And we're going to have just a fantastic evening here as we had in Copenhagen. And to the rest of you, hail Satyricon.